Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I have indeed missed you. On Friday, I didn't produce any video. And of course, I am back. The move by former President Uhuru Kenyatta to reprimand the Jubilee Party's Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni and Ngunjiri Wambugo, the former Nyeri Town Member of Parliament, to refrain from attacking Rigathi Gachagua. That move from Uhuru Kenyatta has been long overdue. Yet the perception of Uhuru fighting Rigathi has been damaging the unity of the united opposition. And in this podcast, I am going to look at why Uhuru pushed for this ceasefire that signals the much-awaited Uhuru Rigathi handshake. I know we really followed that, and quite a number of you had reached out. Kevin, we are waiting for your podcast on that. A very interesting podcast. Remember, also remain here. I will not also fail to do an analysis on Kalonzo-Musyoka's tour in Kango Kajaramogi. So keep it here. But first, guys, I want us to call you for the last time to finish the last mile of our project that we've been doing in Migori. For the last 10 days, we have been on a mission to build a house for single father of four, Bildad in Migori. And his case, for those who are hearing for the first time, as you can see here, he was captured akiwa analima and he's disabled. So when I dispatched my team, they found out how he was and was in a very bad house. So what happened is that Bildad got involved in an accident and broke his spinal cord, and the wife who was supposed to help him probably provide for the family disappeared and went to remarry somewhere. So he was left to take care of the children. Now, it was heartwarming for us on the fact that he's crippled but was working tirelessly to provide for the family. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have so far, this house has reached this place. Hii ndio nyumba yake kubwa ile ya tulikuwa tunajenga ya permanent. They're actually doing the finishing part. So the plastering, the rangi, it's supposed to be done. This is the other one we're building. And there is also this other house that we were building for the children so that watoto watalala. That is also underway. Our plan is to probably hand over the two houses on Wednesday. However, I want us to do a 100 bob challenge to achieve two objectives. We need to get Bildad a new wheelchair. Ile wheelchair kona naambia imechapa hata izitumia. And we are also going to pay fees for the children. That is the deficit I'm remaining with. And I do believe that on Wednesday, possibly we should be able to hand over Bildad a new wheelchair, and shall have also paid fees for the two children. The whole budget will get around 80,000. So let's do a 100 bob challenge, just the last mile, so that I believe that by Wednesday, when all of us are there, and I would all want to tag along, members of this channel, kama uko Migori, and you can reach out so that hata tuende na nyinyi, tuende to hand over. I'll be very glad to tag along some of you. Jubilee Party kickstarted its membership recruitment drive in Murang'a County, and it was a spirited ceremony attended by the party leader, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, and the new deputy party leader, Dr. Fred Matian'gi. I also saw Murathe and his team were all present to attend that event. And first, the move to start the Jubilee Party recruitment drive in Murang'a, I feel strong that the Jubilee Party is coming back in the picture. We understand that in Murang'a, there was that chama cha usawa by the former governor that was being propped up to compete for the same cake. But Jubilee DCP presence in Mount Kenya completely locks out the UDA from that region. This is the region where Ruto skipped majority of his votes. And without much ado, I want us to listen to what the president said. He spoke in Kikuyu, but we've also sought the services of one of our good translators here who has translated it for those people who don't understand Kikuyu, what exactly Uhuru Kenyatta meant in this video.
Piganie chama yetu ama namna gani? Na hiyo ni mzuri. No kiria kienda hakaragia ni kuona ati aratetera kiama gitu akirumaga ari angi. Uramarumira ki? Uramoria ki? We ndwendie sera yaku, ndwendie we uria urenda. Ha? Na niä kä ni secretary general nä ngå kwä ra kå rä niä maå macio ma hä ndä ciothe gå thoma mtandao andå ndiå na aroiga arå gamä rä ire Jubilee araruma Gachagua na kå u araruma å rä a å ngä ä ndikwenda maå macio ma gä kodi na twä iguithanie ithuä tå tirä kä ama kä airu ndayå kire ngä geria kå mwarä ria ngä geria kå må thaitha mwone kå rä a ndä renda gå thiä na å rä a ndä reciria må kä ng'athia må kä ng'athia må gä å ka må kä heo ndeto ingä gutire na thina nie ndiroraga mana thutha ni kuria turorete twiragwo elio muthweri atwirire elio Peter Sindwe tugange yaja kana ine atia nie macio ni magithire niguo magithire no tondu Ngai na tuhete muoyo yo ri na atuhe kahinda githĩ tũgĩthondeke marĩa meki me mbere ti gũtinda kũndũ akĩroraga na kũu thutha tũhĩtĩtie kũ kana twekire atĩa kana twekire atĩa ĩtiguo rĩu nĩ tũke tuoyanĩre hamwe na nĩkĩo niĩ ndĩrenda kwambĩrĩria gũkũ gwitũ mũciĩ tondũ gũkũ niĩ no ndĩgwĩtire mũciĩ atĩ ũguo twendaga kũhingia rĩ tũhote kũhingia githĩ tiguo tukiendanaga na tukimenyaga no nginya tunyitane na andu aria angi tutikahenio ati mundu no eikarie gutiri mundu ungihota kwĩikaria na nikio tuthomithagio kinya ni Biblia na igatwira mundu uria.
Now he spoke in Kikuyu, and I don't know whether the same battalion that normally say tribalists will also pick that as tribalism. When in Baringo, I also heard the president speaking in Kalenjin. And probably Uhuru Kenyatta wanted to make sure that the message is really delivered. And he delivered it in Kikuyu because he was talking to the Kikuyu nation. And there is something he's saying, that Rigathi Gachagua is not our enemy. That is clearly the message. Rigathi Gachagua is not our enemy. And I don't want the party, Jubilee Party, to be used to fight leaders within Mount Kenya. And to my guess, I remember when Uhuru lashed out at Mwangi Kiunjuri, when Mwangi Kiunjuri about the agriculture scandal, the fertilizer scandal, it didn't take 2 weeks before Mwangi Kiunjuri was knocked out, was actually fired from that position. This is a warning shot to Jeremiah Kioni. And in this podcast, sometimes when we say things, people brandish us as people who are just saying things they don't understand. It is in this podcast, I've repeatedly say that I have been doubting the commitment of Jeremiah Kioni in opposition. That has been our stand in this podcast, and people who watch this podcast understand. Even someone's telling me, Kevin, you've been doubting Kioni. Yes, I've been doubting Kioni because he has never showed me, he has never convinced me that he's really committed on the cause. And I have questioned that many times. I am glad that my argument is actually vindicated by what the president is saying. And he's simply saying, we can't attack Gachagua. You don't need to attack Gachagua. Now, there is also a second awakening just on this. I once asked Matiang'i, this is the day Jubilee held its own NDC, and it came out like Matiang'i was moving out of the united opposition. I remember the video I did that evening. It was on 26th September, if I'm not wrong. I asked Matiang'i handlers, show me the way to Matiang'i seeking mounting a successful presidential bid outside the united opposition. Unless it only means that Matiang'i is working with William Ruto. Now, today, that is also being vindicated. It is in the interest of Uhuru Kenyatta, and Uhuru Kenyatta is simply saying that that ambition is well taken care of within the united opposition. Matiang'i has a good chance of course, trying his hand in the presidency, but miscalculations risk actually affecting his bid.
You put everything in your body to clean up our education system in the country. I reported to you daily on the education sector issues. I reported to you daily on the security sector issues. And therefore, I had that front row seat who witnessed how patriotic and how deep your love is for this country. The worst thing we can do as members of your party and people in your party is to deviate from that path and let you down. I promise you, and I promise you, fellow members of Jubilee, and all the people of Kenya, that should I be the one so blessed by God, and through the glory of God who has the opportunity to carry the flag of the united opposition and eventually to lead this party and others to electoral victory, we will probably deliver a government that will pick up from where you left and make this country not just great, but Kenyans will be very proud about what we will do.
And if you want to know, Uhuru's word was taken very seriously. Jeremiah Kioni appeared in one of the television stations, Kameme, and he seemed to have changed his tone.
Ndahitania ritwa GEMA nio twekagira campaign kariri GEMA nio twekagira campaign wakawaji ko mundu ramwekagira campaign mundu gwitwo Rigathi. No, Rigathi is a political ni mundu mururu muno tetini koguo kawaji ko ndagaicirie ni akuhotana na Rigathi ni ambiririe gwiciria horo wa kiambana ndagaigirire ndeto cia kurwa na Rigathi uhoro wa tongoria na maria mangire. And I give Rigathi a lot of respect for that because he's gifted with the tongue and he has also his political shrewdness, which is beautiful.
Now, there have been a particular breed of politicians who wanted to thrive by sowing discord between Uhuru and Rigathi. And it seems that kind of discord, because it is through that probably they will actually cut their niche and find out how they emerge as the prominent characters. I've seen a reaction from Kalonzo-Matian'gi, the Kiambu senator, who seemed to be uncomfortable with the fact that Uhuru and Rigathi could be working together. Kalonzo-Matian'gi is saying, if Jubilee and its born-again leadership are as genuine as they claim, why are there 34 MPs and senators still dancing to Kasongo's tune? Not even a whisper about the mess in the country, just photo ops and handshakes. If they can dine with him now, don't be shocked when they campaign for him again. To Komacho na masikio, top shotter. I think Kalonzo-Matian'gi is totally out of order on this. Regarding the Jubilee Party, I don't know whether the Jubilee Party has 34 MPs. Someone can confirm that for me. But even if so, majority of most of the Jubilee MPs were actually bought by the UDA in that post-election deal, that Azimio, the part of Azimio that William Ruto bought. So blaming Uhuru Kenyatta squarely of failing to bring the Jubilee Party together, to me, doesn't seem to hold. What would be a more responsible question at this point is to just find out Why are Jubilee MPs, who not all of them are actually supporting Ruto, not coalescing around the ideology of Matiang'i presidency? To me, that would be more important at this point. I don't think Uhuru is a bit, has the powers to dictate what some of those MPs should actually be doing. And whatever is uniting Mount Kenya is the anti-Ruto vote. So this should be a warning shot to Rigathi, because they are clique of his leaders, and this is something that those who call themselves party leaders, those who own those vehicles, those parties are just political vehicles. Those who own those political vehicles need to tread very careful. At the moment, it is the interest of Rigathi Gachagua probably to get to the national cake, to produce the next president. Might not be the interest of the MPs. The MPs and the senators and those who are seeking governance, they don't care what happens at the top. For them, they just want to be in some safe space. And that is why they thrive in that kind of discord. And so it's actually imperative on Rigathi to call that house in order. Those who feel that is not their brand probably must chart their path. And hanging on Rigath's coat isn't a qualification. That is what the voter must also understand. There are those who believe because Rigathi has brought a euphoria, so it doesn't matter so long as a leader is hanging around Rigathi. Even if he's hanging around Rigathi na hakuna kitu amefanya, as a voter, you should be comfortable to vote in that who you think has done better or that is going to do better. Migori Wambugu is saying here, this is part of the team that were called out by William Ruto. At the risk of being kicked out of Jubilee, I will share a video on why I disagree with Uhuru on how to deal with Gachagua based on lessons from Kieleweke, where he gave us similar instructions that left all of us, including him, exactly where we are today. In fact, Migori Wambugu's relevance is going to lack. He's already lacking relevance. And I've been saying here, one day I'll be vindicated. This country's problem is not an individual. It's not an individual. Migori Wambugu thinks that Mount Kenya problem is Rigathi. No. I should remind him the Mount Kenya problem is what's happening in Mwea, where farmers are supposed to harvest rice, but government has already imported rice, several tons of rice, duty-free, and so they cannot absorb what is from Kirinyaga. That is the problem. The problem is the coffee bonuses. The problem is not Rigathi Gachagua. And those who probably running this, I'm just saying, looking at what's happening in the country, that kind of politics is backward. That kind of politics cannot move this country forward. These are just scavengers who wanted to use Uhuru to fight Gachagua. And I'm just looking at it like it's not going somewhere. From that handshake, after Uhuru made that speech, I saw Rigathi and Matiang'i arriving at Muturi's event, walking along together. And in fact, they even greeted each other in that event. There are photo ops of the whole Jubilee that was there. So you can't really say that. Remember, statement always repeating that agree with Uhuru, the president will always has always tried to say, agree with late Raila and Uhuru on this and that, just to try to show the people that him and Uhuru Kenyatta are together. And you see, he takes advantage that ako event, yende nafaa ongea last because he's the head of state. And so after Uhuru ameongea, he will always, because they are sharing the platform, he will always say, I talked to Uhuru about this, I talked to Uhuru about that, to try to show that they're together. But if you listen to what the president said there, in that event, he's saying the people need to decide. I've seen bloggers dispatched to attack Uhuru, and I want to make a personal appeal on this. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta made public the health struggles that he was undergoing through. And since then, he's been coming out. He's more free. He's talking. He's doing his thing. I reframed. I saw people analyzing that, but I reframed from analyzing people's health. Yeah, I was a bit, I said, no, that's not something, I know some of you are, Kevin, what do you think about that? No, there's no way I could analyze that. But this is what I can say.
Don't know whether I should say this, but these are realities of life. In the last year, in a good part of this year, whenever we met, he was very encouraging about some of the challenges that we were going through. And since he had more experience than some of us, he was very encouraging in guiding and telling you how to look at this and how to handle some of these challenges in life, health and otherwise. And I'll miss that counsel, and I'll appreciate everything he guided some of us towards, and how he really held our hand and told us, don't worry, things will come to pass, it will go. We trust in God, we believe that the reason Frank is lying here is because it is his time. Those of us who have those challenges will continue fighting with them, but equally, when it is God's time, we shall join him and be thankful for the life that we lived and the times that we shared together. Mine is to say to you, Angie, you are still our in-law. We will be with you. We will continue to share with you. And we look forward to continuing to hold each other's hands as we move towards our respective destinies. May God rest Frank's soul in eternal peace. And may we...
Uhuru Kenyatta's second life, probably after the others, is politics. That is what he loves doing. Those who want to tell Uhuru to confine Uhuru in a corner, not to talk and not to participate in politics, probably they're doing a disservice to that man. As we continue to pray for his recovery, I think this is amongst the things that Uhuru loves doing. And we should not allow him to enjoy that right. There are three reasons why I feel Uhuru's ceasefire locks out William Ruto from Mount Kenya. UDA party and visibility will actually go down. UDA visibility and influence will not be there. That region is going to be ruled by two parties, who might be led by two different party leaders, but in the same trajectory. And the second issue is Uhuru has a financial ability and capacity. You know, I've been saying, you see these town hall meetings, these group meetings, caucusing that the president sometimes organizes. Apart from the rallies, of course, if you check the DCP events and the other opposition events, they normally opt for rallies. Probably they're opting for rallies because they don't have a strong grassroots network. I think it is high time for DCP as a party to conduct grassroots team elections and let them have leaders from ward level all the way to the national, so that they can leverage on that network to try to meet people, to do town hall meetings. Now, what Uhuru is doing is different from what the DCP and the others were doing. The others were moving to markets, getting to churches. That's probably they will meet the people and maybe attending the funerals and this and that. But this is a heart-to-heart talk. The town hall meetings are heart-to-heart. It's more closer. It's more idealistic and it's more organic than in a rally where you don't know. You might even go somewhere and you are in Embu and probably only 30% of people are talking with there are from that place. Maybe kuna event hapo, so wewe umeenda umepata wamama wengi, kumbe wametoka some other places, they were just there for an event. But the organized one is more organic because kama wanakuja in town hall, watatoka tu hapo karibu, and it's something that can be done. Now, Uhuru also has a good media coverage and coverage even within the Mount Kenya, and that is going to give the opposition a bit of a higher leverage compared to the UD team. So ladies and gentlemen, that's my take. I know most of you were asking me about Kalonzo's trip to Kang'o Kajaramogi, and that is coming next. So keep it here. Thank you. And